Listen to that music. Isn't it wonderful? Welcome back to 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Last we left off, we're in the kitchen. We're gonna make a nice, lovely meal for everyone. And first we need the plates, of course. So let's take a gander at these plates. A bunch of little wavy ridges on this plate. Those plates are for serving meat. Well, perfect. We got steaks. Hopefully somewhere in the refrigerator if there's anything in there. Well, excuse me, Lotus. I just use a regular plate. Thank you very much. I'm not a server. I have to go all high and mighty over here. Exactly, I don't need no of that crap. Okay, so we got the meat plate. What do we got here? 15 of these plates is more than enough. Something for seafood. Probably some bass hanging around here, maybe some catfish, I don't know. Just like any other plate from the 99-cent store. If you ever take a lady out to dinner, you're going to embarrass yourself. I feel sorry for June. What? Shh. Excuse you? Why are you bringing up June? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You are not terribly so. Screw you. What about these plates? There's 10 of these. You flip these over, they look like hats. Super deep for a plate. They're soup plates. Well, okay. I can make some tomato bisque, maybe? So, we got a meal all planned out. It's about a poor college student. Yeah. I know that feel all too well, buddy. Alright. So, what else we got in here? Got a sink. Some dirty dishes in here. Clean those up real fast, we'll have some more plates. Sink, it's got water in it. There's a couple of plates in here. I don't think they're going to help us much. They could. Sink with water in it. Couple plates in the water. Well, okay, fine then. It doesn't want to tell me anything about the plates. Anything over here? No. Not on top of the stove. Ingredients around here? I can cook something. That's what I was going to do, man. I love that trope. Even though it's kind of annoying. Hey, there's a little teapot. Wow, this pot looks like it's made out of silver. But drinking tea from this pot would be really yummy. Spending a day off with June drinking tea. Could such a day ever happen for me? Junepie? Oh, nothing. We don't really need hot water, so we should be moving on. We need hot water so much. What's with this door? Oh, hey. Cheese wheels. Cheese wheels! Perfect. Hey, there's something behind the cheese. Oh. Right. Why don't we move some of the cheese? June and I need to look behind. There's a little green bottle back there. Bottle of oil. Extra virgin olive oil. That was fun. It's in here. It's locked. God dang it. This bolt is rusted in place. It won't budge. Of course. Maybe oh. Hey. Just a little bit of oil and come on. Come on. Yes. Gotcha. You did, Junepie. You're so smart. Awesome. As Junepie walked into the room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms tight across his chest, doing what he could to conserve body heat. It's cold here. What is this place? Are you blind? It's a freezer. Santa's teeth had already begun to chatter. Hardly surprising. The freezer was far too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was an even worse situation. Oh, no way. It's way too cold for me. Free solid in seconds. Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I want to leave the rest to you. And with that, she ran out of the room. As Lotus left, June came in. Oh, it's really cold in here. White puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. June had already started to shiver. Hey, you don't need to be in here. I had a fever just a little bit ago. You should stay outside. You got this. No, I'm fine. My fever's gone now. But Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind them. In unison, they spun around to find that the door they had only recently come through was closed. Well then, Junpei rushed to the door. Desperately, he grabbed hold of the doorknob. Ow! It was cold. Beyond cold. Merely touching it was painful. The doorknob had been frozen solid. They quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured. Water released by the rupture had hit the door and froze instantly. Santa shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door. Hey, Lotus, you're out there, right? Open the door. She wasted no time in responding. What do you want? What's going on? The door won't open. Try opening it from that side, please. Fine. You say so. Hold on. Soon they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Arg! Yerg! Then the grunting ceased, and they could hear the light panting as if from exertion. It's no use. It won't budge. You got more people in there. You figure it out. A room escape within a room escape. Amazing. Santa was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself and was shivering violently. Even Junpei, the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling the cold. With every breath they took, they could feel the cold working its way deeper and deeper into their bodies. Anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're going to be permanent residents. 2 heads are better than none. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay? Right. They pushed in close to one another and began to search. Alright. What's that? This thing's frozen solid. This pork? Yeah, seems like it. What's this thing? Looks like a tag or something. Oh. Is there a little slip of paper in that meat? I think there's something written on here, but I can't read it like this. If I try and pull it out, I'll probably rip. We need to defrost that. I don't think we're going to be doing that in this room. Everything's frozen in here. It doesn't look like there's anything else interesting. You! Open! What are you? Dry eyes. Junpei picked up the dry ice with his sleeve so as to avoid burning himself. Dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right? Yeah, it is. I wonder how warm it is. It has to get for it to turn back into gas again. Find out. How's that going to help us anyway? Oh, well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here. They were about to move on when June spoke up. Carbon dioxide's sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that and it'll turn into gas. Any lower and it becomes a solid. Junpei looked at her, dumbfounded. How do you know that? Despite my looks, I'm the queen of random knowledge. Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. Argle mouth. Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb. Yep. White's white. You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you? June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself. Come on, guys, don't you think that's kinda weird? I wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first. Santa was now shivering at an astonishing rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei, however, was not in a mood to discuss science. Man, I really would like to get out of here. His patience was wearing thin. I know. How's that going to help us get out of here? We don't have time for this crap. Actually, Junpei stopped mid-sentence, surprised by June's interjection. Under enough pressure, carbon dioxide will turn into a liquid. This isn't really a good time for a chat about science. But I was wondering the same thing. Wondering what? Wondering why carbon dioxide doesn't turn into a liquid unless it's under pressure. Right? Just seems weird. Water's a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees. So why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide? H2O and CO2 are pretty similar. No, they're not. They're totally different substances. Look, guys, if we keep this up, we're just gonna freeze to death. You good with that? You wanna die talking about sublimation and gases? 'Cause I sure as hell don't. He fixed both of them with a glare. Now let's get back to work. Assuming you don't want to end up like a pair of ice sculptures. Junpei turned around with the problem dealt with. Or so we thought. There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into a liquid when it goes above 32 degrees. It was that ice from before! It was the ice from before! I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees. Its melting point is 96 degrees? You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees? Yeah, well, you could also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. Water that freezes at 96 degrees. Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. That's interesting. Now that was difficult to ignore. Junpei had to ask. So what's this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called? It's like Ice-9? Yes! I'm smart. Ice-9. Originally, Ice-9 was a made-up substance invented by science fiction author. But recently, scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists. Wait, hold up. So this is a thing called Ice-9, or is it water? Like I said, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it'll be liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you could think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite. They're both made of carbon, right? But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and structure are completely different. So you're saying normal water and this Ice-9 are like that? Yep. She wasn't finished. You heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin. For 150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it, and did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920, some glycerin that was en route to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip. Naturally, scientists worldwide wanted to research this new crystallized form of glycerin, and began asking for samples of the seed. The seed is, of course, a sample of the original crystallized substance. With a seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be a simple matter. However, something very strange happened. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, nearby samples did as well. It didn't end there. After that day, all glycerin in the world began to crystallize naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees. Before that day, no matter how glycerin was cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once the crystallization had begun, it was almost like, how do I put it? It was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating in some way that we can't sense. Junpei was honestly impressed. It was, in fact, a pretty interesting story. Wow, that's pretty interesting, but, what does that have to do with Ice-9? To his surprise, it was Santa, and not June, who answered. What she's saying is that it's a lot like Ice-9. What happened, I mean. A lot like? That would be bad. If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees, man, it'd be the end of the world. Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with a proper concern. At any rate, we're not going to have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here pretty dang quick. He was right. Junpei shivered. Alright guys, I think that's enough of that. I didn't think we'd get this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kinda at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore. Seriously. I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland. I freaking hate the cold. But Iceland is the green area. So let's get cracking, alright? We gotta find a way out of here. Santa stomped off, clearly doing his best to pretend the cold wasn't affecting him. Selfish, isn't he? Thought Junpei to himself. Still, Santa was right, and it was high time they got back to their search. The story of Ice-9 had him interested, but there'd be a time to think about that once they got him out of the freezer. Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of the room. Ah, sweet. I was right. At the Ice-9 anyway. Is that it? Box. This thing is covering something. It's frozen solid. I can't flip it over. You can if you tried. What's up? There's water dripping from this pipe. Huh. Looks like when the piper's water hit the doorknob and frozen in place. This water actually seems almost cold. Can I use the chunk of pork on the water? Use the chunk of pork on the water. Come on. Do it. Yeah, look at the... What's that? Oh, hey. Sturdy rope. There's so much stuff in here. Why don't we take some of it out, Junpei? What? It's a big water bottle? Dang. Some dry ice. Some pork. Pork is frozen. It's gonna be like really hard. Should break the dry ice. No? Fine. What's in here? Oh, I didn't get everything, did I? Ah, chicken in here. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? No. Okay. So maybe what I did before we can use for the chicken, not the pork. I don't know what the difference would be, but it's that there's the leg, probably. Okay. This. I'm gonna put these pieces of dry ice. Okay. Let's just tie a rope around here. It's a bomb? What? Okay. Well, maybe we can get the bomb to open the door. Warm water dripped them from the ruptured pipe near the door. Junpei pulled out the water bottle filled with dried ice, let a good amount of water fall in, and then quickly sealed it up tight. A makeshift bomb complete, he tied it to the doorknob as quickly as he could manage in the cold. Alright, that's it. So, what do we do now? We just need to give it a little, tap. The bottle's already about to pop. If you just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off on its own. Small rock? Small rock. Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across it were pieces of dry ice left over from the larger chunk he'd crushed earlier. Alright, that's how to do the trick. He pulled a sleeve down over his hand to keep from getting burned. Grabbed the chunk of dry ice. It was pretty good size, about as size as a pool. Big about as size as the pool ball. Big as a pool ball. He figured it'd be just about the right size. Alright guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere. Both Santa and June looked at him with new concern. Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius? There isn't really anywhere big enough. Well, cabinet. Right there. We can hide in there. Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar. That could work too, I guess. Inside. Quick! Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw. Alright, here it goes. 3. What? Why are you counting up? That's really sad excuse for a joke, man. Sorry, dude. Alright, for real this time. You guys ready? Yes, whenever you're ready. Just throw the thing. Alright, here I go. 3, 2, 5. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he dug down into the cellar with Santa and June just as. Junpei leapt up out of the cellar and ran to the door. Junpei, the ice on the door. Is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. The blast must have shattered it. Yes. Alright, let's see if it opens. Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might.